Oh,
Oh, stop.
I was just like, we could hit to the fourth question.
Yes, fourth question.
Four.
Four. All right, we are back with part 3 of Elevated Convos with the wonderful and vibrant Travis Chapman. Thank you so much for the gems that you have been dropping. We're going to dive in like we never left. Emma, can I get an amen? I'll say. It's the vibrato. Side note, Travis and I love doing a good vibrato, okay? You should listen to our voice memos.
I love a good vibrato. Love a good vibrato.
So you have hit us hard, not hard, but you have hit us with some truths of your experiences with cultivating love and joy. That being said, what were the 3 hardest lessons that shaped you into the being that you are?
I think the first one for me, let me think about it. I think the biggest one is for me is gratitude. The
Ooh.
biggest one for me is gratitude. That's the one that's coming up with gratitude. Be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. I remember a lot of the times when I was projecting to be somewhere else, to feel like I needed to be there for myself, but also just to experience something so much. It's something that again is in the script that I played out for myself. That would actually things are actually exceeding my expectations, but I wanted it perfectly the way that I wanted to. I missed out. Not even saying I missed out, but I wasn't present. I was not focused. I was not grateful for where I am, for the faces I'm here, like seeing and I'm communicating with, the voices I'm hearing. And I was just realizing, I was just like, these are fleeting things. These things, these people, these experiences are temporary. And why am I treating it like it's finite? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's final. And because when you think that it's final, it's like you take things for granted. You take things for
Yes.
granted. You don't realize how much of a beautiful thing this is. This life is temporary. You're in and then you're out. And when you're done with it, you're gonna be like, wow, that went by so fast. It
Yeah.
went by so fast. And it's like I even moments where I'm thinking about, I was like, wow, that went by so fast. And it's so funny. The places that I always thought I was like always like really hyper focused on. Everything that I was trying to say that I just want to be in this place. I want to be in this place. And when I was in that place, when I was in these places, I just felt it happened first. Everything was like full circle. It's like, oh, that didn't feel like a lot of time at all. But also at the same time, it was just like I was worried about nothing. I was worried about nothing. Nothing that worry is so insignificant.
Yes.
And it's so funny. I realized a lot of times we take worry as a regular process we're supposed to go through. It's like a step. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Based off maybe based off what we see, what we learn, is saying we have to worry about something. That means we care about this thing. That means that we take responsibility over it, over our lives. And if we don't worry, we're not taking it, as seriously, or we're seeing it as insignificant. And I'm just like, no. That's not
Reframing.
something. It's actually diminishing that beauty of what that is. It's diminishing the worth, the value, because you don't trust it. You don't allow it to be itself, to be vibrant and beautiful and varied and express itself in its own way of how it's supposed to show you love in your life. And I realized that every single thing in my I feel so every single time I wake up now, I feel so brand new. I literally feel like this, like I have never experienced life before. I feel so like baby ass naked, for placenta juice, and I feel so able to just say, this is what it's all about. To be grateful, and it was hard to be overcome at some points because
I'm
when
sure.
you're feeling listen, because as you're trying to understand what that gratitude is like, I am grateful, but I want to be here. I want to experience these things, and it's based off how you feel your limitations that you place on yourself. They're always based off what you think you can't do,
Correct.
what you think you can't handle, the places think that you can't that you shouldn't be in, and it's placing you so much under this unnecessary weight that is not real. That is not real,
There is
and
no limit.
And there's no limit. And every single time I just say, I am grateful. And
Yeah.
the words I've been saying recently is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's like whoever I say thank you to myself, the universe, God, whoever, I'm saying thank you to all versions of myself that are allowing myself to just be, to just love this life, and just to, and it's so funny when you are grateful and you
Come on.
see these, I know, and you see these things,
Uh-huh.
you just want to cry.
Yeah.
I catch myself wanting crying almost all the time, all the time, all the time. I just cry and cry. And I remember I was walking, I was taking a walk, and I was seeing my mom. Was just like she was. I think he was giving something on the mailbox, and like the flowers on the porch, and everything was so pretty. And I just looked at her grabbing something from the mail, and I almost wept right there walking home because I was just
Mm.
like, it's gonna be all about the crime. So there's gonna be a point
Me
where she's
too.
not gonna be here anymore, and that she's I'm about to mess
Come
up.
on,
No,
let it go. Let it go. Hmm.
and it's like in that it's just like I'm like I've always experienced a parent transcending and and leaving and or just not even leaving, but the end of their presence in my story in a physical sense that I'm aware of. And I realize is that they're once they're gone and once they're needed, because ultimately it is about you at the end of the day. These are side
Hmm.
characters in your story, and if you don't say you're grateful, really say that take and don't take them for granted. They're just gonna you're gonna be like, why?
Yes.
Why was I looking at them like they were just what is it called? Like what is it called? Not so bountiful and beautiful and perfection and a prom. It was a promise that they placed into my life that I was going to be loved and enjoyed, and they were there in my life to just show me how much to love myself. And now they're gone. Now they're gone. Now they're the, the everything. But
Hmm.
but you don't really realize until you truly get that their presence is not there. Their presence physically is not there, and you just like, I wish I could just hold them, kiss them, hug them, and just look at them and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love
Express
you,
it.
as many times as I can, because I was just like, it's like, and then realizing that where you are now is the most important place you're supposed to be. There is no other important place where you're supposed to be other than right now. And it's like, it's just the most beautiful thing. It's just, and especially, it's like not even just the parents, but the loved ones, people that you're in love with, that you care for. And, and just say, I'm appreciative of you. Even if
Mm.
they're not hearing you, but say it in your own spare time. Say, when they send you a text and say, I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative and I appreciate it because sometimes a lot of things get in our way and we're
Yeah.
thinking and tired or whatever. You just realize like, oh, a text like, oh, this. You just like, wait, I'm appreciative that someone is texting to say that they love me, that
Smallest thing.
or even thinking of me, thinking of to be like, and it's not saying that the like the boost ego or worth, but just to say
Yes,
I'm
I
surrounded
follow.
by love, and I am loved. I'm in such a beautiful place. Speaking for myself as well, I know a lot of people that I'm surrounded by so much love. My love inside is matching the love outside. It is matching me. It is. I don't necessarily. There's no disconnect. It's not distortion at all. I see it, and
It's
it's for my
reality.
choice. It's reality, and it's my choice every single moment to appreciate that love. If that's all, that's my choice. That's my decision, and that's my duty for myself. And if I choose to appreciate that love, I will realize how special and precious and gorgeous it is. And that's just one of the hardest things.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
there with you. Uh-huh.
that's like one of the hardest things that I realized that I experienced. One of the things I had to overcome. Um, for me, another one that I realized that it really it's everything that I have experienced in my life and have done is it's it's me. It's me. It's me. Mentally, emotionally, subconsciously, everything it is me. And sometimes we don't want to accept that, especially when it feels like it's pain, when it feels like it's unjust, or it's something that doesn't make us feel loved or supported or whole. You're just like, that's not me. That's not those things. But every single thing in your life that has necessarily brought you to where you are right now has it's a blessing. It's a gift, and it is always reflecting who you are inside. Always reflecting who you are inside. And if you do not like how you're feeling or how you're perceiving this world outwardly, look inwardly and say, how do I feel about myself? How do I feel myself? I'm the one that's perceiving this world. The world is nothing that has done nothing wrong. Everything that's happening is only inside this world.
Right.
And we
Yep.
don't and it's so funny. Sometimes I didn't realize it for so long. I used to think that I used to take everything from the outside world and think that it was that what was happening inwardly was what was it called? Always being it was like always kind of not saying always being matched, but I felt like it was a mm, like I don't want to say cause and effect, but it kind of did feel like a cause and effect. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
I
thinking
can.
this way about
Hmm.
yeah, I'm thinking this way about myself, or I'm feeling this way, and I used to always, or even especially fear. If I'm fearful inside, I'm afraid of the world. I'm
Yes.
afraid of what, and it's like, and afraid of what may happen and everything. And I realized those were just that's only something that's happening internal. It does not exist anywhere else. It just only exists in your body, in your mind, and in your energy. Everywhere else, there is love for you. There is so much precious joy and gift to reap. And everything that's inward is only happening within yourself. And that is one of the biggest things that I had to realize because, especially when you're trying to place blame, place blame. And
You're in
then I
my head.
know,
You're
I
in.
know. Calabating. It is kind of just like when you're trying to place blame so much. It is like because it is like especially when it comes to like past trauma,
Yep.
hurt in a
Circumstance.
childhood,
Hmm.
as well as romance, everything where you feel like you're giving love, giving out love, being yourself. You want to say, why is this person not viewing me the way that I want to view myself? It is like something in some way that it makes you feel like you're always wanting something, always needing or yearning for this type of this like kind of like it's this
Reciprocation.
delusion. Yeah, exactly. Reciprocation and a delusion that it's just like what they have is something that you don't already have for yourself. And it's kind of just and always going reaching out to say, you made me I always hear this. They made me feel. They
Yes.
made me feel. You
Come
made
on.
you feel the way that you felt.
You
It was
allowed that.
you.
You
You
allowed that.
allow that. You allow that feeling. It was the type of thing they felt the way they felt. They have feelings. They have things.
They're
But
human too. Hmm.
they're human. And the thing is, and this is that they did not make you feel anything. You had a feeling within yourself that was self-inflicted based off how you saw yourself and your love and your worth and your value. And because you did not see that, you that projected and it kind of shook something like a bell. It done
Yes.
something and it sounded everything. It's just like wow. Because sometimes people, when they think of a memory of hurt, they place it to a person or
Yeah.
place it to a situation. They
Hmm.
never say that it's like something that was internally infused into them. Because if you feel solid and whole and loved and know who you are and you see yourself that way, you will never feel like you will have to project that onto someone else. Make someone feel, carry this thing or this hatred towards themselves to say that someone has to fix that for you. Or someone has to just make me, you have to make me feel good about myself. That is not
Right.
their job.
Right.
That is not their job. That is not anyone's job to make you feel loved. You have to love yourself. It's just like they have to love themselves. For them loving themselves, it's for you loving yourself. You just like you are that love. You give that love, and you will be able to accept that love more often. And a lot of the times, it's not that love is not given to you; it's that you're not sometimes able to see it, or view it, perceive it, or allow it. And a lot of it's hard to allow something that you don't know what it looks like. And it
Right.
really is, especially
No.
because you have, especially if you have not done it for yourself. And it's so funny, even when it comes to true love, especially when it comes to romance, it comes into a sense where no one has really felt that amount of love at all, at all. Especially a lot of these things are either obsession or with the imagery, the idea of what you think the person is, idea of what you think, especially even not even the sense of love with everyone,
Yeah.
an idea, the obsession with wanting to be wanted. And when it actually is faced with someone that can truly love you and appreciate you, you're just like, am I that lovable? Can I? It's sometimes, it was for me for a long time, it was just like, but nothing but why, like I couldn't understand it. It was more in a sense where it was difficult for me because I placed my mind into so many unworthy places that it was just constantly replaying that unworthiness that I could not accept already what's in front of me. And it was so it was just, it blew my mind. It was like, it's me. It's me.
We talked about
It's
this. It's me.
it's me. It's me. Wait, let me tell her. Wait, I have my do not disturb. Let me tell her my do not disturb thing.
Do your thing.
Because I got a notification that was like, no, I don't want to hear that chime today, or not right now.
Maybe later.
Maybe later.
So
Yeah.
is it okay if I add on a little bit more? I don't want to
Oh my
interrupt.
God! Please add on
So what I'm
everything.
hearing you say is two things: accountability, which is hard, especially self-accountability. Like it's acknowledging,
Acknowledgement. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
acknowledging, hey, maybe sometimes, most of the times it's me.
Yeah.
And also grace, extending grace upon yourself and forgiveness.
Mm,
Once you
mm-hmm,
acknowledge it, that can be hard because you're feeling the guilt, you're feeling
mm.
shame. I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I hate shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I do find
Oh
myself
God.
sitting in shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but that's still me. That's
A bunch
still
of
the
what ifs. Yes.
exactly. And it doesn't matter. So when you put on your gratitude glasses, it takes off the fear like glasses. It's the wiggle for me. The fear of glasses, because even if you find yourself in the midst of the worst storm that you possibly could be in, with the gratitude glasses, you're still able to see beauty and thrive
Mm,
and thrive. And your favorite role,
yeah.
wholeness.
Mm,
Wholeness, that despite this human aspect of I want to tell this person off, I want to do this, I want to blame you, you
mm,
recognize it's me. I forgive myself for not knowing better, but I do better now.
mm,
And you
mm.
move
And it's
forward in
so.
progression.
Mm. And it's so funny. It's so funny because I was thinking about this one day. I was just like, even if it's like if everything just crumbled all around, it is your perception that changes everything. It is your perception that changes. Because when you look at the bigger picture of this world, of this
Mhm.
life, of existence in itself, that thing that you're experiencing is so insignificant. So insignificant.
Yes,
It is so much love around you. You just have to realize that you're bigger than all of it.
yes.
You're bigger than all of it. Stop thinking of yourself so small where you feel like you can't handle it. You have to grow to see how big and vast you are and how
Mm,
you can stand strong into that. Because if you constantly think that you are small, you will never feel like you can grow and evolve and see the bigger picture of this love, of what it can be like to just know that you don't ever have to be afraid. You never have to. You never have to. And I think that what the illusion of fear that we place on ourselves is to always trick ourselves and always place ourselves in just a small, insignificant, just kind of this minute space of what we think we can do and what we are. And like you said, no limitations. It really always goes back to that, no
it always
limitations.
goes back.
That no limitations is just like it's on everything. And really you're boundless if you realize like, okay, breathe it in. I feel what I feel, I experience what I experience, allow myself, but there is so much more that this it's going, things may crumble, but there's so much more. Life goes on. Life is on. It doesn't just
Like,
go,
right.
it's already on. And it's abundant. It is a brilliant ass life. It really is. Okay, wait. Number three.
Yes.
Number three for me. Mm, mm. Ooh, not to be so hard on myself. Mm, that was about to
That's a
make me
good
cry.
one.
That's because you know what I got? It was I think it was 2 years. It was going on 2 years after my father transcended. And I was just like, and it's so funny how you kind of sometimes, especially kind of know someone more after transcendence than you really did know in the present form of who they are because you see how much they were loved, see how much they were loved. And I remember I was just like, I was just like, I need, I just want to. I think it was for me. I was constantly thinking about what is it? Money, 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 money. Wanting to secure the bag. You know what I mean? That type of mentality.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's like it's all about the bag and all about the thing. And like and well, and created this as well. But it was this one of these beautiful things on Instagram. It's like, oh, I'm giving all the free reading, just like for anything, and fit on your thing. And I went in and I got it, and I was like, okay. They were like, who do you want to hear from? And I was like, who is there? I was like, oh, it's my father. Let me ask some questions. And what I got back from it, it was he said, don't be so hard on yourself.
Mm.
Don't be so hard on yourself. And it's so funny because it was always this thing where I didn't realize how hard I was on myself, how
Wow.
critical, how judging. It was like how this, it was just, it's not even saying I was not manipulating, but it wasn't manipulating. It was just, I, I, I think that I didn't realize how much I was evolving. And when I was meaning evolving, it was just unlayering, unlayering myself. And every single time I unlayered myself, I always came to this thing is like I need to get better. I need to do better. I need to be this better version for myself. Constantly wanted to prove something to me. It's just like and to myself. And I was just like it comes to this point of just like what at like while you're on this journey, while you're on this life, what is it really gonna mean? What is it all gonna be about? Why when I want to remember my experience for me, I want to be with me, in me, for me, and just like in all of me without feeling like there's not a safe space to be in for myself.
Mm.
That I could not be in myself and not feel like I can't just be accepted and enjoyed and just and loved and just and home. Because if I don't feel home within myself, I'm not living, and I'm
Yes.
not living. And if I'm constantly casting myself out, where's there room for anything else in my life? Anything else I
Mm.
really wanted? And
Mm.
I truly understand. It's like there's no reason. There's only patience. That's why the emptiness comes in my mind and my head. That there's only patience and kindness and joy and a bigger perspective. And I will never ever jeopardize that for myself ever. It never will be jeopardized because that's
Yes.
what life never with this life is love. Being jeopardized is only a self-inflicting thing, but it's just like in a conflict that I only made by myself. But it's like if I could, if I'm not saying if I can, because I do, just constantly just love myself and allow myself to be who I am. There's no reason to be hard on myself because
Yes.
there's no unthing unlike myself, and will be nothing unwanting who I am in my body and this in my joy in my life. And those are the three biggest things. The three biggest things. Three biggest things. I know there's possibly more that I don't know of yet. As I go along the journey, we'll have to discuss that again.
Yes. In part seven.
On seven.
And I'm crying because I feel seen, and this is a safe space because we're all reflections of each other. And this kind of goes into the second question, but remember we were talking about the lack of empathy. Well, the lack of empathy starts with when you're not able to completely understand love without limitations for yourself. So then you can see another human being, despite their limitations, whatever that is, you're still able to see a magnificent, beautiful human being that deserves the same amount of love and pouring into that we pour into ourselves, especially us being loving creatures in our nature. So I you are literally pulling on my heartstrings right now. My heart chakra is opening up and I receive it.
But
It's, it's it's right on the knot. Like it's right on, like it makes sense. It's like so profound that it's so simple. It's such a simple concept, but so profound that wow, we really were amplifying anxieties and worries for no reason. For no reason.
no reason, no reason,
For what?
nothing at all. And for what? For what? And, and it's so funny. I always imagine that someone's like me die looking on the other side, and I'll be like, well, it was so simple. It
Mm.
was so simple. Why did I make things so difficult for myself? Why didn't I just not love? Why did I just not love? And I feel like that would be the biggest regret of my life if I did not love. if I
Right.
did not love. And it's just like,
Worth it.
and it's so funny. I always just picture myself just loving and hugging the people and shocking the hell out of them for who
Yes.
they are. Just to know this, like that they can be loved, that they can be loved, and just that's my. I feel like that's all I'm supposed to be. That's
Yes.
all I'm supposed to be, and just to be the most joyous thing ever in the world. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Right.
Oh
Feel
my god!
it. You feel it. You feel
I feel it. I feel it. I
it. I
feel it.
feel it. Feel. It's a vibrato, y'all. So, taking exactly what you just said, how do you think cultivating an understanding of freedom can help change the overall collective? We probably kind of answer within itself, but I know you have more wisdom to share on that, to expound on that. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. It is. I feel like by making life simple. I think
Mm,
that by making life simple, I think that a lot of the times that we, it's funny, my friend Zach was just like, you have a lot of great perspectives. You see things from a lot of different angles, a lot of different ways, and so that's beautiful. But he said, make life simple for yourself. Just think of
mm,
something simple. And I was just like, and when I thought of something simple, just happiness, peace, love came to mind, those words. And I just, and just ease. And it's so funny that ease that you feel when you're not, when it's just like when you're not burdened by illusion obligation of what you think you're supposed to be doing in those moments of living, of living. These things are learned. These things are, well, it's like, of course, beautifully placed in our lives for us to understand and to just make ourselves even more beautiful and amazing while we're here. It's just that you never have to feel so. I think a lot of the times, well, this is going to actually go into what I was saying before about what I mentioned in the beginning. When we're children, when we're children, we we are naturally ourselves in a lot of different ways,
yeah.
a lot of different. It is like beautiful who we are. It's like nothing really does affect us. And then as we grow up, we have different stages. We go to this part where it's like, oh, idol. We want to. It's like we find idols. We find these things that we admire so much that we're just like, okay, we see look on the things on Disney Channel or music or whatever,
Yeah.
or writing or books or whatever, and or people even close to us, and
Yeah.
we attach to those things of what we admire from them. And then after that, we go into another stage of after just like, okay, attaching to these things, we want to be accepted, accepted for those things, and accepted for those things. And when you want to be accepted, you adapt, you change, you
Yes.
shift to wanting to be loved, to wanting to be loved, to view, to seen, to be just like to kind of be a part of this collective thing. That you already are a part of this collective thing, but you're not aware that you're part of this collective thing. So you want to be really in it as much. And sometimes we either dial things down or we level things up. And a lot of our times we get suppressed underneath those things. Again, this is
Mm,
who we are, the kid, and a lot of things are waiting on top of that. And then after that, we want to be desired. This is around like around high school, around even late middle school, whatever age that you finding what is it, the intensity of puberty and love.
yes.
It's like,
No, you're
it's just,
valid.
and it's just like, and you want to feel desired, you want to feel beautiful, you want to feel handsome, you want to feel sexy, you want to be hot. You don't. Sometimes you don't want to be cute. You want to be cute. You
Yeah.
go to, but the thing is, you want to be looked at by someone, seen by someone as important and as worthy. And sometimes to do that, we change and we look at even the scene from Mean Girls that I watched a couple weeks ago, where all the three girls and Regina Jones look inside the mirror. It's like, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. But with Lindsay Lohan's character, someone that has been in somewhere else that did not have that mentality, kind of
Right.
almost like a kid, like a
Yeah.
child, and all of them looked at her just like, aren't you supposed to say something that you don't like about yourself? And in her mind, she was like, I only thought that the things you can dislike about yourself, quote unquote, were either you were fat or skinny. I did not know that there was so many different illusions or layers on top of these things of what I was supposed to take as critical or just like, what is it, unloving about myself. That I was supposed to look at myself and say, I don't like, what was like, oh, let's just say, I don't like my eyebrows. I don't like my figure. I don't like this. Oh, my butt's too small. My butt's too big. I'm too skinny. You know what I mean? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
all things, all these things that we then layer on top of ourselves to make us feel the not even saying to make us feel unworthy. We're just learning. We're just learning and we're adapting to our learning process. And so we have to be gentle and patient and kind. And it's like, and then again, then it keep those same things, and then we want to choose based off colleges, based off things, based off
Yeah.
occupation, and wanting to see as what is it called, worthy, valued, our net worth, our purpose in life. And so those things, based off those things, if you don't necessarily feel what is it called, aligned or just like aware what that looks like, that worth slightly diminishes
Yeah.
because you don't know. And you go into places that make you feel like you're supposed to be there because that's where your worth should value and based on society should be most admired and acknowledged.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is like, and then if you go a little bit higher, then we want to be sexy. We want to be this like, we want to, it's so funny, but I feel like everyone wants to be a sex symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to be a sex symbol because it wasn't just now about being silly, about being yourself, about being free and joyous and jokey and goofy. I want to come off as sex. I want to come off as a sensual object, an item for people to look at and say that you are important, that you
Mm.
are worth. And it's so funny because I caught myself doing that so many times.
Yeah,
I did
same.
not like the word of just like because I remember I was looking for the I wanted to be seen as sensual. As sensual is different words for different meanings and concepts. But the word free for me didn't didn't see. I wanted to be called hot. I wanted to be called these. I wanted to show that I was valued. That when someone looked at me, they actually wanted. And it's isn't that so
Mm.
funny that a lot of the time when just you look on it and it's the thing is not and not it's not like he's being meaning everyone
Right.
or wrong or right or anything. They're learning, they're understanding themselves because they have adapted so much to this idea of what they think it is to just be free, to be free,
Mm.
to be this thing. I'm free. Look at me. I'm this, but I'm going to constantly post these things about me, about this idea, about this thing that's only going to be happening into this one lifetime and then you're gone. This image. And when you place all these things on top of yourself, you disappear. You disappear.
Yes.
You vanish the hell out of there. You vanish. You're a ghost, bitch. You don't exist.
And then the mask start taking its place.
The mask.
Mm-hmm.
You pretend, and I just think to myself, everyone tried to not be loved in a sense. Always tried to not to like. It's kind of like a clickbait thing. It's
Yes,
kind of just like,
I like
look at, and when it's really saying, look at me, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm worthy, tell me I am important and beautiful, and all these
mm.
things. If you just let that go, if you just let that go, you're human. You're still that kid. You're still that person that you just adapted to everything around you because you were learning, yes. But because you were just, I think it was afraid,
Yes, goes back to
afraid,
fear. Mm-hmm.
afraid. Because a lot of these things we are comparing
Come
over and
on.
over the things that we don't have to compare. It's like you can be like it was a quote that I saw. It's like you can be inspired by someone, or inspired by something, but you should never compare yourself.
Mm.
Never, never, never. And I think that even the word inspiration towards someone should be investigated within
Yes.
yourself. Because why are you inspired by them? Where's that intention and motivation coming from? Where does that feel like you need to be or move so much your energy into someone else's space to say, I want to be inspired by that? And
Mm.
it's like, no, it should be self-derived. It's like it should come from inwardly, not from outwardly, because again, you're still comparing in some subconscious level
Yes.
because you want what they have.
Right.
You
Because then
want
you're
some
looking.
part of it.
Yeah, because then you're looking for, it goes back to validation. And then you're looking for the validation of look at me, I just look like Beyonce. Look, I just did
Exactly.
the same thing that Beyonce did. Why am I not getting the same likes? Let's, take it to social media age. Why am I not getting the
Exactly.
same likes as this? Why am I not getting the same likes as influencer, as this influencer? I did the same content. So then you're allowing
Exactly.
the spirit of fear and anger and resentment. So then love
And
can thrive out of
insecurity.
that. Come
Yes,
on.
and it's so funny. The things that we're insecure about, they're not even real.
No,
They're
they're
not
not.
even real. They're someone else's. They're someone
That's
else's.
not your purpose.
It's not. It's so funny. It's kind of just like it's kind of like if everybody just allowed themselves to just be who they are, to just be who they are, just like who they truly are, even if they don't know what that is, because they are so distant or feel that they're so distant away from that, from the true
Yeah.
origin, from the true origin of who they are. Because I think that they felt like they drove too much in the distance, and they were like, I can't see where I just came from, and I think that it's just a lot of it. I feel like if we can just allow ourselves to be free from just I think that sometimes we go like this
Mm-hmm.
to trying to either feel like we need each other, the
Mm.
necessary need to feel important. And I think that's what it comes to this lock. We have this imaginary lock on each other to feel that if no one likes me, if anyone sees me as this as something that I feel like I am not, it just it kind of what is it called? It hides you. It
Yeah.
hides you. It hides you. And I think that the more that we can collectively just create our own lane, create our own lane, create our own wholeness, create our own just
Mm.
kind of just praise, self praise, you will find so much more in you than you have ever found from trying to look somewhere else outwardly for validation. You will just like you can never find that outward validation anywhere. Anywhere. And it's so funny. I just see it so much. It's just like you just want to hug everyone
Yes.
because it's just like you just like it was like if it was a teenage girl wanting to be a pop star, still their favorite pop star, saw this pop top booty. So it's just like things like
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to be this. And it's just like and they're wrapped up in their pretend world. Wrapped up in their pretend world. It's just like you can stop. You can stop. You can stop.
You can rest.
Because you're
Mm-hmm.
you can you can rest. Oh my
You can
god.
rest now.
Oh my God. You can rest now. The show's over.
The
The
show
show's
is over.
over. So you can rest. Oh my God. You can rest. And a lot of the times what I even realized for myself is just that it's, what was I even trying to say here? I think, wait, what was the question? One more
Yeah.
time.
How do you think cultivating an understanding of freedom can help the collective?
Okay, that's where I was about to go. Like, I was thinking to me, I was feeling like when I chose to be singular, very
Mm.
singular, very self motivated, self insured, where I'm not bringing insurance of how other people just like, you are my insurance, world. You will make me feel alive and worthy. I, I kind of, I got this sense of feeling alone.